everybody, and welcome to this special on Mercury transiting in Capricorn. So this year, Mercury transits in Capricorn from the 24th of January until the 11th of February at 8:25 when Mercury enters Aquarius. I'm Amani. I'm a karmic, holistic, astrological life coach, and I like to go in depth in all that I do, and all of my interpretations, especially when it comes to Venus, Mercury, Sun transits and everything really, are based on Vedic astrology, which is based on where the planets or the luminaries, which are the sun and the moon, are any given time in the sky, and all times are in GMT time as well. So yeah, thanks for listening, and yeah. Okay, so now I'm just going to start with giving the summary meanings of what to do when Mercury's in Capricorn, the pros, the cons, the best use, and then I'm going to do a big deep dive into the meanings for relationships, friendships, committed hookups, the karma of this placement, what to do with the energy of this placement in terms of your career and personal and spiritual development, and what singles and self-partnered people should do. So a big deep dive. So yeah, when Mercury moves through Capricorn, it can sort of like be like a astrological life coach guiding you. Doing again, it can act like an astrological life coach guiding you towards practical thinking and strategic planning. This energy encourages us to focus on our long-term goals and make decisions that are rooted in logic and reason. So practically, it allows us to reassess, rethink our goals and create more solid, better plans to achieve our goals in the future. Even if you have been making goals for years and years and years, this energy can allow you to get real about the daily habits and thoughts you will have to build into your life to make your plans are actual reality. It allows us to be more disciplined and organized and set realistic goals and make better routines, daily routines, as I said, and habits, and get outside of our comfort zone as well. It allows us to become more straightforward and effective in our communication. People can just be more direct, and it gives us the ability to speak about complex ideas and have difficult conversations in a way that other people can easily understand. We can also focus on our achievement, on our goals. It motivates us to continue or start new things that we've been putting off, and really, work on our personal milestones as well. This normally happens at the beginning of the year, Mercury in Capricorn. Or towards, about the first or second month of each year. Sometimes it happens in the 12th month of the previous year, but yeah, so it's bringing that fresh energy that allows us to, go get what we want to get, but negatively can make us inflexible, critical, cynical, dismissive of new ideas, wanting to fit into established beliefs and traditions, not wanting to think about the new or be open to the new. So we have to stay open to new perspectives, new beliefs, and put ourselves in other people's shoes and know that just like we have our preferences, other people have, but also our preferences can be detrimental. Are they really your preferences, or the preferences your parents or your friends or lovers or, your nation or religion has told you to believe? And just think about whether they are really truthful and valid. We can just think too much about material success, and this can lead to us neglecting our emotional and spiritual needs, and it just reminds us to nurture our inner selves to overcome the focus on just gaining money and working to burn out. We can also repress our emotions and hold back our emotions right now, so it's important to allow ourselves to express ourselves and be vulnerable, and just not prioritize logic and reason, but open ourselves up to love and intuition as well. We can become too focused on perfection imperfection as well, and this can get in the way of creativity and lead to unnecessary stress. So it reminds us to find the beauty of imperfection, of our flaws, of us having failures. The trick is to keep on getting back up after each failure. Trust me, I failed so many times, and the only reason why I'm here doing this now, is because I keep on trying, and we just have to keep on trying, So the best use of this energy is to strategically plan and set goals and create a clear roadmap for your personal and professional goals. Write down each step. Also use this to develop your educational development or career or professional development as well. So great for networking, looking for mentorship, stepping up and coaching and mentoring someone else, allowing the universal energy of Mercury in Capricorn to be your astrological life coach and push you to do the things that you need to do, and just allow yourself to be more effective in communication, be open to others who are more direct right now, and just have more confidence in yourself, and balance logic and emotion and reason and intuition right now, finding a balance between emotional awareness and rationality, intuition and logic. And yes, we must be practical, of course, but don't forget to listen to your intuition and feelings as well, because that's really important. So Mercury in Capricorn is a good opportunity to use discipline, clarity, strategic thinking, and use this energy to make meaningful progress in our journey of growth, whether it's in our career, our love life, or education, personal development, or spiritual development. So that's the end of the summary version. If you want the longer version, listen on. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the positive and negative astrological meanings a bit more, plus the practical, financial, political, social, collective meanings of Mercury transiting in Capricorn. So as I said, it's like having a wise coach, mentor by your side that wants you to be more disciplined and more thought out and structured in your thinking and actions. It wants us to focus on practical matters, so it's a great time for productive conversations, making plans for your long-term goals, and cutting through distractions and doing what really matters, and really, getting real about the thoughts and actions you've got to take day to day to, reach your goals. And it just allows us to have more clarity and purpose. That's the best use of the energy. That's what you should be doing when Mercury's in Capricorn. We just have to watch out for being too pessimistic in that outlook and being inflexible. Our responsibilities can feel overwhelming right now, leading to heavy thoughts that could create brain fog, cloud your communication, So watch out for communication breakdowns, because misunderstandings can come up if we feel like others are being too critical, or others feel like we're being too critical with them. So it's important to keep an eye on how you express your thoughts and feelings right now, and how you voice any, upset over other people talking to you in a certain way and stuff, because this can just escalate frustration. So we just need to adapt and shift our approach when things feel too inflexible, because you don't want to get physical and overly verbal. So, getting overly verbal and aggressive with people when there's no point, it's just going to waste your energy. Mercury in Capricorn gets us to be open to being practical with our communication, and explore the new without, getting inflexible. But it can make us inflexible, make us emotionally detached, and work too hard as well. So we just have to, be gentle with ourselves and try to do things and use this energy in a disciplined way, so we can create meaningful progress in our life. So, the best use of this is to work on your long-term goals and your communication goals, communication projects, doing the technical things of editing any books or poetry or anything you write in, any academic or technical work. This is what you should be doing with this energy. So in terms of the financial meanings, it wants us to get real. it allows us to sort of like tap into this kind of good with money financial advisor that can live rent free in our mind right now. It helps us to be better with our money and time management skills, and it can just allow us to have more of a laser focus when it comes to spending and saving, not wanting to overspend and wanting to save as well, and make those decisions that align with our long-term goals. Our short-term goals can be, let's have the latest trainers or item of clothing or jewelry or car, but the long-term goals is, well, I'm saving for a house, so we're more likely to think about our long-term goals rather than short-term gratification that can just take away from us having that money to buy that house 5-10 years down the line. So it wants us to prioritize stability and security in our financial life and be more mindful about where our money goes, and make sure that everything we spend right now, every dollar, every penny serves a purpose, it counts, and we only spend on what we need right now. And it just really wants us to set achievable financial goals, look over our previous plans and make sure we're not stretching ourselves too thin, because sometimes we can think we need to save too much, and not have fun. Yes, have some fun while you're saving, but just not too much fun that you don't end up with the thing that you want in the long term, like that house, because life has to have that fun, even if it's just buying yourself a chocolate bar for $2 a pound, just doing these little nice small things for yourself can really uplift your morale while you are saving and make it feel worthwhile that you are in effect, stopping yourself from having short-term fun and gain for your longer term goals, So the best use of this energy is to gain clarity, be honest about your finances, consider long-term investments that will pay off down the line, be flexible and disciplined, leave yourself some wiggle room, some time to prepare for those unexpected expenses like, car repairs and stuff like that, household items, having fun buying yourself that dollar can of drink or whatever it is you like, So it allows us to sort of like be intuitive about our finances and create budgets that are not only smart but sustainable in the long term. And it can be like a financial feng shui sort of like energy, symbolizing your financials. That's what feng shui is all about, being simple in your decor and how you live your life, and making sure that every dollar, every pound finds its perfect purpose, not wasting any, spending it wisely. And this can include spending your money on fun, it doesn't mean not having fun. We just need to watch out for over analysing every single expense, but finding that balance between being accountable and not letting financial stress steal our joy, which can be hard to do. But as you keep on working with yourself to release trauma around finances and stuff and build more positive thoughts, then you can allow yourself to do that. It reminds us that financial planning isn't about restriction, it's about creating freedom, and we can use Capricorn's disciplined energy to build a money strategy that supports our dreams while keeping our feet firmly on the ground as well. So it asks us, how can we step into the role of being CEO of our future success? On the political level, it wants us to be more pragmatic, focused on seeing actual results, not just to speak, what politicians can do, and making promises and never delivering. Leaders and influencers can also use a more logical, methodical, strategic approach to policy making or content creation. It wants us to seek transparency and accountability from those we follow, politically or otherwise, because anyone we follow, even if it's just an actress or musician or anyone really, it's a political decision, right? Because we see them as a sort of authority figure in our life, or we give them that energy. So it wants us to have a critical look on how we view authority figures in our life, how we allow them to influence us, how they manage their responsibilities. Really looking at leaders and asking yourself why you follow them. We may see politically in governments demand for more integrity and accountability from leaders and those in power. People want decisions that are clear in their motives, wanting to leaders to speak their motives, but we can also really question traditions or reinforce traditions right now, but ultimately it wants us to think about the systems of governments that we allow to hold up our social standards. Why do we follow them? What does it say about you as an individual, us as a nation or community, whichever country or nation you belong to? We can see more of a push from people asking for more social justice, economic equality, and more environmental responsibility. And it just wants us to really talk about, get involved in conversations about how we can make a more structured and equal society, and how we can bring more change into our lives and our communities, and just really have those thoughtful conversations and banter about our communities and our political beliefs and those we allow to influence us and give authority to, and thinking about how we can make changes for the better. On the worldly, social, collective meanings, it wants us to take a more grounded, practical vibe and really think about the nitty-gritty of life, thinking about financial strategies, our career goals, and bring tangible goals, do practical actions to bring our goals into reality. And it just brings a sort of reality check to our plans, pushing us to consider what truly matters in the long run, And it also wants us to make sort of practical decisions about our stability and growth and our goals, our professional and educational development, what we need to do to upgrade those, making time to have discussions about investments into our career and educational paths, and make sure we get real about our life and our decisions, and we're making decisions that are not just hopeful but sustainable over the long term. If you want a long-term goal of changing my life, then you have to change your belief system, maybe change some of the day-to-day habits and thoughts you do, the company you keep, your friendships. A lot of the time, we waste our life because we keep on throwing good after bad, and that just means keep on doing the same thing. Like Albert Einstein is quoted to say, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And a lot of us spend our life, doing that as well. So it just wants us to have a reality check, and socially, we can just see ourselves becoming more sort of looking for a sense of collective responsibility. We can find ourselves wanting to, and people in your circle may feel more of a pull towards wanting to spend time with people who share their values and mutual goals. So, friendships could end or deepen right now, get stronger, because we can support each other's growth, or we can see that, maybe this friendship or, daily habit is not supporting our growth, but we can also, be more loyal and have more of a sense of responsibility to our friends and community as well. But we can find ourselves drawn to networks that create professional growth, or go towards social causes that resonate with our sense of integrity and belief system and stuff like that, So the best use of this energy is to reflect on your relationships and spend time in relationships that uplift you. But I will talk more about how Mercury in Capricorn can affect our relationships later. So it just wants us to be more grounded and strengthen our relationships ultimately, and think about how we can bring more long-term success into our friendships as well. So now I'm going to talk about the psychological, spiritual, esoteric symbolic, creative, hidden and emotional meanings of Mercury transiting in Capricorn. So on the psychological level, again, it wants us to make decisions based on facts rather than emotions, without ignoring our gut feelings and intuition, but being grounded and being more practical in the execution, in the doing, being more structured and disciplined, and thinking about our long-term goals rather than our short-term gratification of, yes, I want that new top or jewelry or car now, but hey, if I do that, I won't be able to hit the monthly mortgage payment or something like that. So we just have to be realistic, right? And make sure we meet our sort of like demands of paying the bills, but also be creative as well. And just watch out for being overcritical, as I said, and ignoring and being dismissive of ideas that don't fit into your established frameworks, routine, belief systems. Allow yourself to think outside of the box. But Mercury in Capricorn, on the base level, because it's earth energy, but it's cardinal earth energy that makes us do things, but it can make us too rigid and stuck in conforming and tradition as well. But the best use of it is using the traditional but being new with it as well. Spiritually, it wants us to tap into the wisdom of the earth and the ancient traditions that have stood the test of time, and encourages us to grow spiritually through becoming more disciplined and persevering, being more resilient, getting up after each failure. And there's many failure in life, but especially on the spiritual path, and practicing what we preach and doing the research and getting strict about our meditation and other practices, our Tai Chi, yoga, whatever it is you do, or combinations of things you do. It wants us to make a practical, solid foundation for our spiritual practices, and watch out for becoming too fixated on material goals and achievements, having that card, that new item, and that crystal and tarot cards, and getting down to the practicality of spirituality is what comes from within, working on your inner world, working on your spiritual truths, being a better you, allowing yourself esoterically to build that solid foundation for your spiritual practices and everything in your life, and not allowing yourself to be distracted from the deeper spiritual truths, and the reality of your situation. Symbolically, it embodies the archetype of the wiser elder and responsible leader, and encourages us to channel our creative energies in ways that are both practical and impactful. And it can be a fruitful time for manifesting creative projects that require careful planning and execution. But if we become too focused on being perfectionistic or have a fear of failure, we may feel our creativity is being stifled, blocked, so we just have to just create. You can do the editing later, create. A lot of the times we overthink. Yes, thinking's good, I'm saying strategically plan with your communication and all of that, but also do as well. Capricorn energies, cardinal earth energies, about being practical and doing the things that you need. So if you want to be a successful person who's happy-go-lucky and have fun, you have to develop the mindset of a happy person, right? So you have to work through your childhood trauma, psychological and spiritual wounds and all of that, learn to manage all your different personality traits, your strengths and your weaknesses. It's a lot, right? On the emotional level, it wants us to be more stable and think about our security in terms of our emotional expressions, and it wants us to and encourages us to communicate our feelings more directly and concisely, and this can create understanding and respect in our relationships. But negatively, because we can repress our emotions and shy away from being vulnerable right now, this can sort of the focus on being practical over being emotionally expressive can also get in the way of us being who we are as well. So as we navigate this energy, let us be practical with our emotional awareness and be grounded in our energy. That can increase our communication and asking ourselves how we can improve our relationships and become more grounded in them and be more practical with our goals as well. well, but also become more emotional aware and look after our emotional and spiritual and psychological needs, and this can help us meet our goals more effectively. So now I'm going to talk about the aspects that Mercury makes this year when it enters Capricorn and how they affect this energy, right? So the first aspect is Mercury making opposition to Mars. So it motivates us to take action. We can feel more assertive and ready to tackle challenges head on, and we can express our ideas with more passion and clarity, and this makes it a good time for debates and discussions right now. But on the negative end, because we can be assertive, this can lead to arguments and misunderstandings in relationships, so we need to just be cautious about how we express our opinions, as I said, and watch out for being impulsive as well, rushing into decisions without considering the consequences, and this can lead to, high consequences and hasty choices, because Mars's energy is, pushing us to go against Mercury's energy right now. So we just have to pause and think before we do things to avoid unnecessary conflicts and channel the energy into being productive and assertive. Mercury makes a sextile square to Jupiter, so it encourages us and supports us to think big and explore new ideas. It's a great energy for brainstorming and creative problem solving, and we can just feel an increase in positivity, and it makes it easier for us to tackle challenges with a more hopeful mindset. But we just need to watch out for being overconfident and overestimating our abilities or making promises we can't keep. So we have to stay grounded in our assessments right now, and just watch out for being scattered in our focus. And if we think too much, we can just be scattered in our discipline and concentration, making it hard for us to follow through and tasks, So the best use of this energy is to stay realistic in our goals and commitments, while also being open to new ideas, new concepts, new people, new ways of doing things, new ways of thinking about things. Mercury makes a trine to Uranus, so this allows us to be original in our thinking and come up with groundbreaking solutions to our problems, to be more open-minded, so that's really good as well. But negatively, we can become restless and impulsive, so we need to be balanced and not be impatient right now as well, and just make those slow steady steps. Cardinal energy Capricorn is, so it can just push us to want to start things now, but what we really need to do is just try and do things in a strategic way, especially when it comes to our communication and our third house stuff, because that's what Mercury rules, right? Gemini in astrology, and also the third house, so our interactions and daily conversations with everyone we meet in our day-to-day tasks, whether it be neighbours or work colleagues or customers, stuff like that. So the best use of this energy is to work towards brainstorming sessions with yourself and working creatively in teams and being innovative in your thinking. Mercury makes a sextile to Neptune, so this allows us to be intuitive, because I said we need to be intuitive, right, and tap into our inner wisdom, and we can just feel inspired to allow our imagination to flow and go after different spiritual pursuits. But negatively, there can be a risk of miscommunication and misunderstandings, and we've got a lot of aspects to that Mars energy I talked about earlier that's pushing us to be aggressive, so we need to watch out for that, and watch out for being distracted from important tasks, because Neptune energy can always make us want to escape, and it's sextile Mercury here, so we may want to escape into drugs, alcohol and overindulgent substances and people right now, and this can just lead to confusion as well, and add to us just sort of like not being grounded, so we just have to try and be as grounded as we can, especially in our spiritual development and practices right now as well. Mercury also makes a conjunction to Pluto, so another deep energy. It allows us to have deep thinking and be open to hidden truths and investigate and all of that, and have deep insights about ourselves and others right now, so that's really good. It's a good energy to use for deep discussions and gain more understanding about our personal growth and life here on Earth, but this can be overwhelming overwhelming, this Pluto energy that wants us to transform, change, investigate, go deeper. We may just want to be superficial, and this can be overwhelming. It can also add to obsessive thoughts and power struggles in our conversations right now, and we can just fear being vulnerable as well because of judgment of others or ourselves. And we can just find it hard to express or hesitate to express our deeper thoughts and feelings right now. So the best use of this energy is to use it for self-reflection and conversations that promote healing and understanding and change, and allowing ourselves to explore the depths of our thoughts and emotions without fear. So Mercury makes a sextile square to the ascendant, so this encourages us to express our thoughts and ideas more confidently and increase our personal presence and awareness, and be more aware of how our communication style, how we talk to others, can affect our relationships with others for the good or the bad, and how we can sort of change any negative things and embrace more of the positive communication sort of styles that we have. Negatively, we can misunderstand or misrepresent, lie to others, or exaggerate, ignore red flags and all that. So we have to be clear in our communication, and if we feel like others ain't being clear with us, or we don't understand what they mean by what they say, we just have to ask them, and sort of like be open to be more clearer. We just need to also watch out for self-doubt as well, because we can feel insecure about how we present ourselves, and this can lead to hesitation in expressing our true thoughts as well. And we just have to sort of like do the things that allow us to express ourselves authentically, while being mindful of how our words can be taken by others as well. So at the time of Mercury going into Capricorn this year, it's making a T-square and a stellium as well. So there's a stellium between the Sun, Pluto and the midheaven in Capricorn. So the Sun represents our core essence, Pluto signifies transformation and deep emotional changes, and the midheaven represents our public image, our persona and career goals. So again, they help us to focus on our long-term goals and having integrity, thinking about what we want to do and making it based on what we truly think rather than what others tell us to do. So it can be like planting a tree right now, and remember, trees take a while to grow. There's trees that are babies now, we never see their adult selves because it takes time. So it reminds us that change takes time, and we have to nurture and be patient and sort of like allow us to weather our storms and provide us the need and the ground for our growth right now as well. So it just allows us to work on our communication, organise our ideas, and supports us when starting new things and paying attention to the boring details right now, and to push forward and allow us to have more confidence and clarity, and to just be more positive and organised in making our decisions and have more authority as well. But negatively, this stellium energy can, again, we may just feel overwhelmed with the deep emotions that Pluto brings. It can bring our emotions to the surface right now, especially emotions around our lack of communication, or fear, self-doubt about our communication skills basically. So it can also add to the misunderstandings and sensitivity as well. So we just need to make sure that we, take a balanced approach and use this energy productively, and just, apologise for any boundaries we overstepped, and give the same grace to others as well, and try to walk away from power struggles. In terms of the T-square, involving Mercury in Capricorn, Chiron in Pisces and Mars retrograde in Gemini, again, it can make us more authentic in our self-expression, and it brings a great healing energy. Mercury's under pressure here from Chiron, so it can expose vulnerabilities, especially around our communication, as I said. So we can get confused, and Mars retrograde in Gemini brings that inner drive as well for us to talk to each other, but it can also, the fire energy of Mars and its retrograde as well can make us more inward as well, and past hurts can come to the surface, and we can feel conflicted on whether we want to say them or avoid them or not. And it can just make us feel like we're doing too much things, juggling too much balls, taking on too much, and we're not managing too much multitasking and confusion, because like I said, Mars in Gemini energy can make us want to do too much right now. So it just wants us once again to be mindful of our words and actions, take the right time, give ourselves the right time to complete tasks, manage the chaotic energy with the pool of Gemini in this, Mars retrograde in Gemini. And yes, it is inward, but it's still Gemini mutable energy, right? And Capricorn being in Mercury, being in Capricorn, which rules Gemini, so it's a lot of Gemini energy, and Capricorn's trying to earth it right now as well. So it just wants us to take time out to pause and reflect before we do things, and try and use it to not feel overwhelmed, but to gain a deeper understanding about ourselves and others. Whatever tension comes up, especially around your communication right now, is a sign for you to take time out and to think about how you can solve your problems and not run away from them, but not take on too much and think you can solve them all at once as well. So now I'm going to talk about the karmic meanings and lessons, past life memories, and the dreams that we can experience, as well as the collective karma of Mercury in Capricorn when it does its transit here. So again, the karmic themes resolve around responsibility, discipline, and the power of being more focused in our thought, and it encourages us to pause and reflect on how we communicate, think, and go after our goals, right? And it wants us to cut through distractions and align our mental energy with our long-term goals, and think about the habits and thoughts we do that drain our energy, because a lot of the time we don't have the energy to do good because we waste it on toxic relationships, toxic thoughts. And it's not our fault. We've all been programmed, and we've all been through life, right? Childhood trauma, romantic heartbreak, or lack of romance can lead to us being upset, and just all the other stuff life throws at us. So it just wants us to sort of like pause and reflect and think about how we communicate, think about our goals, and it wants us to just align with our true ambitions and our true selves as well. So the lessons it brings revolve around personal accountability for our lives. Are we speaking with truth and integrity, or are we telling lies because we want to live up to other people's expectations or other reasons? Are we being realistic about our plans, and are they aligned with our higher purpose? Capricorn energy wants us to be mature, asking us to cultivate, develop patience and persistence, emotional resilience and self-love, acceptance and forgiveness, and embrace the wisdom that comes from within and experience from thinking about our past experiences. On a karmic level, it wants us to think about where we may have been dismissive in our life, being like, oh, well, I'm 40 now, I'm too old to change my beliefs, or stuff like that, where we may be too inflexible or too fixated on material success, especially in our past lives, or where we may have been times where we may have been materialistic if you're not now in your current life, or why you may be materialistic now. Why are you trying to live up to other people's expectations of what it means to be successful and wealthy? It wants us to balance ambition with compassion, and it reminds us to build not just for ourselves but for the greater good of humanity as well. And the ultimate karmic lesson is about communicating with purpose and leading with wisdom, rather than from a place of control, trying to dominate others or fear. In terms of past life memories or dreams, again, dreams around authority, structure and responsibility may dominate our thoughts or dreams right now. We can recall lifetimes where we held positions of leadership. Maybe we were a ruler, teacher or guide, and these memories often carry sort of like themes of duty and the weight of expectations, and they can reflect times when we either fulfilled our obligations or struggle under their burden. So dreams can also reveal past experiences or feeling restricted by inflexible structures, whether societal or self-imposed, and we can just kind of like encounter images of old institutions, workplaces or other systems that feel kind of familiar, and these sort of like dreams serve as invitations to get us to reflect on how we balance discipline and freedom in our life, where in past lives, like I said, we could still be carrying in our soul experiences sort of like things that we've learned that are toxic to our well-being in this lifetime as well. So it wants us to really think about how we balance discipline and freedom, as I said, and ask ourselves, are we repeating patterns or overworking, being too sort of over perfectionistic, or having a fear of failure, thinking about why we kind of stay away from responsibility if you do that, or if you did that once, why you did, and how you can stop doing that, and think about where you may feel pressured in your past, and this may stop you from taking the leadership role right now in this lifetime. So in terms of collective karma, as I said earlier, communication around leadership and accountability can be centre stage right now. There can be an increase in conversations and debates, public debates about the integrity, how truthful those in power are, the sustainability of current government systems and societal systems, how we raise our children, how we speak to each other, how we have the average adult intimate relationship and stuff. And it can also bring to our attention the need for clear, honest conversations to tackle our long-term challenges as a collective. As I said, we keep on repeating our karma. Generation after generation, people are born into trauma, misusing authority and all of that, just keep on doing that, hurting each other throughout the generations, without thinking about the consequences of what comes when we prioritize material success over ethical responsibility. So we may want things to be more equal, where we think about the long-term needs of our human, like healthcare. A lot of people have to pay for healthcare. This should be a basic kind of given, right? We need good health to live, good psychological and emotional balance to live. So all these things, we should have economic systems and government systems that support this, but we don't. And I believe until when we have that, then we're just going to keep on repeating our past. So any money that we spend on all of these things without tackling the real issues, which is, childhood. A lot of our trauma starts there in early adulthood. Then we're just going to keep on, continuing with the generational dysfunction, So it encourages us to think about how we communicate about practical matters, like climate change, childhood sexual abuse, heartbreaks, trauma, death, all these things we avoid talking about, and economic systems and long-term planning. And it wants us to think about building for a future as a society, and it wants us to be more mature and grounded in our conversations and the structures that we wish to build for future generations. And it wants us to think about shifting from blaming and dividing, and my viewpoint is better than your viewpoint, but to take accountability for constructive action, where we take into account different belief systems, and that's allowed. We're allowed to think differently, but we should all try and meet a middle ground so we can uplift the collective rather than, drain it. So, the best way to work with this energy is to think about how your words and thoughts contribute to the foundations that we're building personally and collectively. It wants us to focus on clear, intentional communication. So those are the key words for this transit: clear, intentional communication. Asking ourselves, do we approach life challenges realistically? Are we being too inflexible or too flexible, or too critical, too perfectionistic? Do we block our creativity? Do we stick to outdated beliefs and actions even though we know they're damaging to us and others? the best use of this energy is to journal, to plan and to set long-term goals, and pay close attention to your dreams as well, and memories that come up right now, as these can carry insights into patterns you're being asked to release. So psychological, emotional, spiritual traumas you're being asked to understand and work through and forgive and accept, you know, accepting both your weaknesses and strengths and turning your weaknesses into strengths, you know. It's a sort of like Capricorn's energy here wants us, shows us to transform our past lessons into present strength, our weaknesses into strengths, as I said, and build a better future that's more grounded and meaningful, and just create a more better life for yourself and reach your highest potential. So now I'm going to talk about how Mercury in Capricorn affects our relationships. So in terms of family relationships, it wants us to be more intentional and mature in our communication, which can become a powerful tool for healing right now, allowing us to unpack complex emotional histories with newfound clarity, you know, and talk about the things we normally avoid. And it can be like having a family meeting where everyone can finally talk about those long-standing patterns that have been swept under the rug, like I said, and it creates a golden opportunity for genuine understanding and repairing of relationship, and, you know, repairing. Some of you may have not talked to a family member for years, and you could genuinely come back together again now if you allow it. It's not going to be easy, but it's possible, right? So it allows us to restructure our emotions in our family. But negatively, conversations can become too cynical and clinical, you know, just kind of dry and lacking passion, and it can lead to what I like to call emotional refrigeration, and this can trigger feelings of disconnection and a sense of coldness within our families, you know. So we have to balance being honest with warmth to keep our connections alive, because sometimes it can just be, oh, well, I'm speaking my truth, I don't care about your feelings, but we have to care about others' feelings, you know. So there's ways to be honest, you know, and ways to say things as well. So this is the key here. In terms of friendships as well, it allows us to be more authentic and have more strategic alignment, you know, as I said, allowing us to start or deepen our relationships, our friendships, and have them built on mutual growth and shared goals and, you know, hobbies and stuff. And we can just become partners in personal evolution, supporting each other's long-term visions. It can be like forming a dream team where everyone is invested in each other's success, but we have to be aware of our shadow side. Friendships can sometimes become overly pragmatic, and this may lead to sacrificing us being spontaneous and emotionally fluid right now, but it allows us to be more calculated in our relationships, and it reminds us to let loose and have fun even when there is planning, you know, and making the serious fun is something I recommend. In terms of co-worker relationships, it allows us to have strategic teamwork right now. Communication can flow more like a sort of like fine-tuned instrument, like, you know, the best guitar harmony ever, you know, guitar and bass in sync, you know, nice piano riff, you know. So it can just make us sort of more strategic in our thinking, working together. Everyone can be on the same page and working towards common goals, and we can have like clarity because of communication right now. But negatively, it can make us inflexible. Innovative ideas may feel sort of like stifled by people wanting to stick to the rules and being perfectionistic, right? So we just have to try and relax a bit and be open to newness as well, and allow our creative juices to flow in our teamwork and group goals, while also maintaining a structured approach, because, you know, creative order, being structured and being creative is the best way, right? Having a routine, but also allowing creativity to be part of the routine. in our co-work and work environments and all relationships really. In terms of committed relationships right now, we can talk about shared futures, financial plans and life goals. So this is good to talk about your goals right now and align your goals with each other and restructure your relationships. Again, it's important to maintain emotional warmth alongside all the strategic and, technical thoughts and deep chat, to make sure that everyone is not feeling sort of like alienated or, you're being lacking compassion, and this can lead to tension because people like you just being cold right now. Yes, we have to plan and all the rest of it, but try and keep the love alive while mapping out your future together, sort of thing. In terms of hookups, it wants us to be more conscious in our hookups as well, be more transparent and honest and set clear boundaries, and this can add more depth and purpose to these relationships. It can move some hookups beyond physical exchanges, having sex, and some of you can, create a more meaningful hookup or even go into a committed relationship during this energy. But negatively, we can become emotionally detached and we can just feel like that they're just transactions right now, hookups, but some of you may want that. Sometimes this is what hookups are about, just meeting our sexual needs, right? But, again, we just need to be careful because other people may not see it that way, so just make sure we set our boundaries and speak our intentions and true feelings, and watch out for being too clinical, but don't lie as well. If you're not in love with someone, don't just say you are in love just so you can get what you want. Okay, so for those who are single and self-partnered, work on your inner alignment, your self-love and understanding, and heal sort of like family, ancestral, emotional blueprints, dysfunction, and allows you to sort of like be more intentional in your future relationships as well, and lay the groundwork for relationships that you truly desire by, becoming more loving and affectionate towards yourself and understanding, forgiving and self-care in the right way, right? But you just need to watch out for too much over-analysis of your weaknesses and shadows side, as this can lead to temporary emotional isolation. We all got flaws, Yes, we must do the shadow work, but we must not do so much that always sees the shadow. We must see and embrace our light in ourselves and others as well. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about how Mercury in Capricorn affects our career, personal, spiritual, educational and self-partner development. So in terms of our career, it's like having a well-organized planner that can help us map out our career goals with more precision. We can feel ourselves motivated to create solid foundations for our long-term success, and this is an excellent time for meticulous, careful planning and execution action. But we just need to watch out for becoming too inflexible in our thinking and action, and again this can get in the way of our creativity. So we have to balance that strategic mindset with openness to new ideas, and this is how we can keep our professional journey development more vibrant and exciting and worthwhile. We can progress and feel happy while progressing. In terms of our personal development, Mercury in Capricorn serves as a catalyst for deep self-reflection and transformation, and empowers us to sort of cut through our psychological patterns and reshape our personal stories and have more clarity and purpose as well. And the disciplined energy of Capricorn supports us to take a more practical, strategic approach to self-improvement, making it easier to set achievable daily goals, right? But we just need to watch out for becoming too critical or emotionally detached, and this can get in the way of our emotional growth and self-compassion right now. In terms of our spiritual growth, it wants us to ground our mystical and spiritual insights into practical daily actions and strategies, and integrate, our higher thinking, cosmic wisdom into our daily routine, making our spiritual practices more intentional and sort of like meditate and do energy and other work and use other tools to create a deeper connection between the spiritual and our practical everyday world, the tangible. But we just need to watch out for over intellectualizing things, especially our spiritual experiences right now, and this can lead to us disconnecting from our intuitive heart wisdom that we need to gain mastery over ourselves. In terms of our educational goals, it's great for deep research, technical, academic writing and intellectual exploration. Going deep into things, it allows us to process complex information more efficiently and understand things that we may have not understood before. But Capricorn's inflexibility and wanting us to be perfect can stop us from being creative in our thinking and adapting to new research and other techniques and stuff. So we have to stay flexible and open to different perspectives, and this will help us maximize our learning potential as well. In terms of self-partner development, it allows us to work on changing ourselves from within, So in terms of self-partner development, it allows us to feel more aligned within ourselves, to reflect and be open to forgiving, understanding ourselves and others, and just exploring our personal psychology, especially our thought patterns, our toxic thought patterns, our unresolved trauma to do with, past rejection issues or abandonment or self-neglect or heartbreaks, and ancestral histories, narratives, the things that repeat in our families. We've all got, different brands, similar brands. So we've all got, human dysfunction and family dysfunction, right? So this is about getting real and being more intentional about your self-alignment, your self-understanding and respect. But you just need to just watch out for being analytical and reflecting too much as well, and this can get in the way of your emotional connection and you being spontaneous with life right now. So now I'm going to talk about the best things for creatives, professionals, entrepreneurs, alternative healers, lovers, those who are single and self-partnered to do. So creatives should, work on writing a book, developing their portfolio and planning an exhibition or something like that. The disciplined vibe of Capricorn supports us in being sort of focused and meticulous in our planning and our execution, to think our ideas, yes, but to practically take the daily actions to bring our visions to life with clarity and precision. So work on that creative project that you've been dreaming about or putting off, even if it's something you started 5 years ago and you're like, I can't restart it now. Yes, you can. It's time to make it happen. In terms of professionals, this is a good energy for goal setting, career planning, and to review and refine your goals and update your, CV, professional skills and network with intention. Increases our focus and determination when Mercury is in Capricorn. So it's a great period for doing complex projects and showing off your leadership skills in a humble way and take your career to the next level. Entrepreneurs should, sort of like implement efficient systems, so your daily routine and all your product delivery, or how you respond to customers and how your website looks and all of that stuff as well. Reviewing your financial strategies, setting realistic goals and building a strong foundation for future growth, and it encourages a more disciplined decision making and wants you to be more practical in your innovation, helping you navigate challenges with more resilience, asking yourself what steps can you take to strengthen your business. Alternative healers can use this to ground your practices and develop structured healing programs and refine your techniques and deepen your understanding of, holistic healing therapies and modalities. It wants us to be practical in how we heal ourselves and clients and stuff like that, and balance intuition with evidence-based practices, So mixing the psychological and scientific with the alternative, and ask yourself, how can you enchant, make your healing better during this time? Lovers should use this energy to be more intentional in their communication and relationship building. It's a great time to discuss long-term goals, establish mutual boundaries and strengthen the foundations of your relationship, have more meaningful conversations, and talk about saving resources and all of that good stuff, how who's paying what bill, long-term goals, and building more emotional intimacy and trust into your relationship. In terms of those who are self-partnered and singled, focus on setting goals, self-reflection, developing more self-discipline, love, focus, and learn new skills and explore interests that build or add to your strong sense of self and resilience and self-reliance and confidence, and just get excited about your goals right now. So overall, when Mercury is in Capricorn, it wants us to take a more disciplined, strategic approach to all areas of our life. And if we embrace, vibe with this energy, we can achieve progress in all of our goals, So the only thing we have to ask ourselves when Mercury is transiting in Capricorn, right, is how can we use this energy to uplift our lives? So that's the end of this very in-depth special on Mercury transiting in Capricorn. So Mercury is in Capricorn from the 24th of January to the 11th of February this year. I'm Amani, your holistic astrological karmic life coach. Take care and see you next time.